Good morning. We got to talk about this pump fake. Is it a pump fake or are we setting up for some higher price action? We're getting into it here in just a couple minutes. Bear with me as I retweet this live stream here on Twitter and also on both BitLab and Kellam Twitters. But we're going to get into this. We got some charts we got to look at. We've got some signals that are popping right now. We got some data about the whales. But I just want to give you a little secret. We got some giveaways that are going to be happening this week, and it's all going to be tied to those of you retweeting the actual live stream that is there on that I did on right at the top of my Twitter at Kelly Kellam. It's also posted on at Academy BitLab. But with that being said, we got some things to look at. So as you're rolling in here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell if you're listening or watching on Twitter. Make sure you're reposting this to your friends and family. Let's get people in the know. But we got some things that we got to look at today. I'm feeling good. We got some data. So let's get it. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. We've got to talk about what's happening in these charts. Where is my mouse? There it is. Okay, there it is. We got to talk about some things going on here in the charts because it's starting to look pretty good. It's starting to look pretty sexy. But are we going to get trapped in a bias, or are we going to pay attention to what these possibilities are? As you know, I've been sharing these charts on a daily basis here. I had a great discussion this Saturday that we posted with Jesse Olson. Shout out to him. But this is that box that we had outlined. I mean, way back over here. Price came right down into it. Are we going to get another flush down into this, potentially even lower down to the 48, basically $50,000 mark? Will we lose that level and come down here and truly wreck people's minds? But what's most exciting about all of this is this box right here, which is just an arbitrary box on the chart. And no, it is not. This is that box representing that time frame that I was telling everybody to watch for, which is relevant to the days post-halving. Right now, let's see, we're on the daily. Let's go ahead and drag this over to the current boom right there, 143 days post-halving. I posted that chart, the on-chain chart, as well as the overlaid previous two cycles. And that's what defines this zone right in here, this territory within the price. Within what price is going to do based on the time post-halving, using that analog, using the proxy of the last two cycles of that sideways chop solidation, which we're seeing yet again. Wouldn't you believe it? The history does not always repeat, but it very often rhymes. I'm sure if you've been watching any crypto charts or any technical analysis charts for the last couple of years, I hope you've heard that. And if not, then you're on board to now hear that. But we're seeing the VWAP here flipped, coming back up. Look, attacking to get back above this positive zone, which would be incredible, suggesting that the bulls are trying to play positive spreads where the price action pushes beyond that VWAP and comes back and retests it and continues on and upward. But as it stands right now, we're still negative. We still have negative money flow on the daily, but you look at this stochastic rounding out. Look at the RSI rounding out. There's an attempt trying to be made. So the question right now is what is going on with this? Now, shout out to everybody that is here, especially if you're here on a daily basis. My name's Kelly Kellam. Welcome to BitLab Academy. Welcome to this community. This is all about sharing meaningful tools, content, resources, price action, and more. Now, I do want to just say I'm going to post this. Comment directly below the live stream here on Twitter. That's not what I wanted to post. Let me copy it really quick. Boom, free. Nope, that's not what I wanted to post either. 1, 2, 3, copy. Now paste. I'm just posting the link to, I don't know why. There it goes. Boom. Sharing some links with everybody. Now we got to talk about what's going on here, because when we look over here at the coin market cap rankings, we are still sitting here back. We hit this at the end of last week, under $2 trillion. Bitcoin is still above 1 trillion. Ethereum's sitting here under 300 billion now. So it's been, sort of chopping in this $275 billion range. BNB, 73 billion. But if we come over here to 7-day, we are seeing some things that have pumped. SUI, Quant, Starknet, Aave, Uniswap. But when we come over here to the downside price action, remember Adam had a pretty good week the week previously with a little bit of upward price action, but now down 9%. But in the last 24 hours, back up 7%. So this was all the way down there about minus 16 or so. Lido, LDO is down about 9% in the last week. Ethereum down 9%. We're seeing opportunity. None of this should frustrate you. This should tell you that there's opportunity in the charts. Volatility is a feature for those of us that are actively taking advantage of price action to the upside and downside and realizing that we are well within a range that we have been in now since March 13th, when we had that initial sort of breakdown from that $73,800. So when we're looking at everything going on right now, we realize we are just sitting here getting trapped in both directions with liquidity both above us. But, we're kind of having a little bit of a pullback here, right? We've got a bit of a zone directly below us here at 54,500 down to about $53,400. So if the price action does come down to sweep this free liquidity, then I just warn you, or I want to encourage you not to get bothered by this, but to look to the data and take advantage of opportunities while it's here. Because when we look at the value days destroyed, I love this multiple, and this multiple is showing us that we had a bit of a selling pressure right here with some older coins. And this is also relevant, I think, largely because there's coins that have been held in wallets that have been, I don't want to say protected, but involved in some legal proceedings for 13 years, a long ass time, a decade. That all that Mt. Gox all those the distributions of the Mt. Gox crypto, I do think that's largely relevant to this high VDD, which is value days destroyed. When you have a coin that's been held for 10 years, when that coin is traded or moved to another wallet to somebody else holding it, that basically destroys those value days in terms of when you're trying to see how many old coins are moving versus new coins. So when you see these large spikes, this is also, you can see it happening once the price action is getting up into this very profitable range. Same thing right here. We get above previous all-time high into a very profitable range. Smart money that bought lower, taking profits into the strength of the bull trend. Now, is that the same thing that's happening here, or is some of it somewhat cloudy data because of all these other things that play beyond just long-term holder selling? Because we have other data that completely contends and does not agree with this sort of metric. But what I really want to point to is that this has fallen off a cliff. And you see that little green flash right here. We can scroll down here. If you go to bitcoinmagazinepro.com, or you can type in look into bitcoin.com, it'll take you to this website as well. I think Bitcoin Magazine took over look into Bitcoin, but it gives you a good sort of example of what this chart is breaking down. But the fact that this flashed green is now showing that the coins that are moving there's very few older coins moving right now. It's a healthier market. And you see when this does get into the green, it's been relevant to essentially near market cycle lows or great opportunities preceding up a very strong upper price action. We see the same thing happen here. We had a little bit of a spike here, didn't get all the way in the red, but then once we had a bit of that pullback, roughly about where that halving was, then that we also got it to where it was disproportionate, where there's not really any old coins moving. So we are seeing signs of bullishness in the data. And when we look to what's going on here, I said, buy Bitcoin. You are now risking being fully left behind. Buy Bitcoin and get ahead. It's moving with or without you. Why did I say that? Because Bitwise CEO, one of those Bitcoin spot ETFs, the truth is that investment advisors are adopting Bitcoin ETFs faster than any other ETF in history. It is just that their historic flows are overshadowed by the even more historic pressures or purchases of other investors. So we're seeing some incredible signs of life. In fact, if we come over here, Michael Dell even posted on the 6th, enjoy Bitcoin, 13th richest man in the world, worth $96 billion. Tech giant, entrepreneur, businessman. I think he's going to have some of the type of people that follow him that are not going to be listening to the ignorance that has been spewed for the last 13 years that we're still working our way through, getting people to, because BlackRock's involved, because Fidelity's involved, because Michael Saylor's involved. And we're seeing so many incredible integrations and also positive sentiment switch. But that takes some time to trickle down. But this is something that we like to see here. Those signals of the dominoes falling in favor of the bullishness that is to come. We move this on. Now we can actually see some of that data. This is from Quentin, a friend of mine over there in Brussels. He says, smart money is buying Bitcoin while sentiment is at an extreme low. So the Bitcoin Smart Money Index, the SMI, large investors, this is only increasing as price action is just sitting here consolidating for what was it? See, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We're in the 7th month of price action holding in this $50,000 to $60,000 range. This is very bullish for essentially where we're at in the market cycle, consolidating at this previous all-time high and seeing smart money buying. So when we look at that look into Bitcoin chart and we saw that there's some old coins moving, we also have to understand the context of how, why, when, where, and what was the impact of this. This is smart money taking profits into the strength of this trend. This, I think, is more largely in part a lot of that movement that happened in the market for a lot of the basically redistributions of some of that capital that's been locked up for so many years after the Mt. Gox collapse. So this is, we're seeing the signs that we want to see, and it's getting scary. I know, but it's scary if you're not looking at the data. When you're looking at the data, it is beautiful to understand that we are in the strongest asymmetric buy opportunity in history for any asset, especially with how early this is. Now, do remember, I want you to remember, I shared this last week, but Bitcoin has traded more hours than the traditional stock market has since 1971. Why is that? Bitcoin is a 24/7 asset, 365, whereas the stock market's only open about 8 hours a day, and it's like 255 days a year or something. So because there's so much active trading hours, because this is a 24/7, 365 market, Bitcoin as a tradable asset has traded more hours than the stock market has in 53 years. Now, of course, this isn't going to be directly relevant to, does this mean it's older than the stock? No, we have to understand that there's still such an early, we're still in such an early stage of this crypto ecosystem. However, the fact that we're seeing such appetite and we're still consolidating a previous all-time high bodes incredibly well for the near future. I just went over that, so I'm going to come out of there. And we get back into the whales, talking about what's going on with the whales. Whales accumulate Bitcoin amid market decline. 2,814 Bitcoin purchased for $157 million. Recent movements in the crypto market indicate that large investors, often referred to as whales, are taking advantage of the price dips to accumulate Bitcoin. According to data from the on-chain analyst platform Look On Chain, 3 notable whales have collectively purchased 2,814 Bitcoin worth about $157 million since September 1st. This accumulation comes at an average cost of about $55,887 per Bitcoin, indicating their confidence in the asset's potential despite market volatility. Whales accumulate Bitcoin amidst market certainty. This is what we just covered. But things, we need to be stop being so emotionally triggered as retail and realize that these bigger players are really setting themselves up to protect themselves into the future and take advantage of the incredible price action that is to come. Now, we're going to be doing a bunch of TA here in just a few minutes. We got Crypto Danks coming on in a bit as well. It's going to be about 15 minutes or so. We got some more things to cover. We're going to be looking at TA. We're going to be looking at some signals. And I'm going to show you some incredible data showing that the people in our signals lab are making some incredible money because of the signals that we have been sharing in there. And I would love to have you in there. I do want to shout out CoinW channel partners. We have the link. If you're watching on Twitter, I posted it directly below the video in that post. I think it's from the BitLab Academy account, but the link is there. You can also come here to YouTube and scroll down below this video. I want every single one of you watching right now. Does your thing say subscribed? Did you come here and tick that bell? I'm going to be doing a lot more member stream. In fact, I'm going to be doing a slightly different format for the shows with a little bit less time on the lives that are open to the public. I'm going to be doing a lot more members streams. In fact, I think it's going to be near daily. So make sure you sign up and become a member here on YouTube or a member there in BitLab Academy. But now if you want to get into the Signals group, the Signals Lab, where we're doing free trading education, and I got all those videos, that first round of 15 that are about to get posted, but also all those signals. Make sure you sign up right here, free traders group. Click on this link, get involved in the Telegram. As you can see here in just a second, when I find my mouse, there it is. You see right here, these are some of those signals in the last couple of days. This is in August, plus 90%. Okay, we got plus 46%, plus 183%, plus 78%. Plus 60%, plus 68%, plus 55%, plus 93%. We've shared all of these signals in that Telegram, and it's free access. All you have to do is sign up with our link on CoinW. When you click on that link to Telegram, it'll bring you to this page. It shows you right here. Step 1, register a CoinW account. You got to sign up with this. Even if you have another account, you have to sign up through this link right here, or one of our partners that we have. Sign up here and then find your UID. It has all the information in these images. Very easy. If you can pay attention, if you can read, if you have vision, you'll be able to follow along. And then you come right here, step 3, verify. You just type /verify space and then whatever your number is. None of the little brackets or anything, just like it shows right here. I'm having people have issue, and it's like, if you're not being able to pay attention to what the very 3 simple steps are, you're going to have a huge issue following signals that are very clear on the chart that we are sharing with you. That will bring you in here to Signals Lab, where we got, all the signals going on in here on a daily basis, as well as, so much going on in here. So get involved, and this education area is going to be, start having all those different course and breakdowns and stuff here in the matter of just a few days. Now, coming back over to the charts, what's going on? We got some more things we're going to cover. Then we got Mr. Crypto Danks coming up here in a moment, but it's not just Bitcoin. We also see, and by the way, shout out to I just saw a super chat or something. Falco gifted 1 membership. Thank you so much. We're taking that trip to Singapore next week. So you have no idea how expensive it is to fly from Atlanta to there, and then also get a hotel while the crypto conference is going on and a Formula One. So every one of your memberships here helps make it possible for us to take care of our team and also all the things involved with running this channel. So every time you guys participate in anything we're doing, whether it's joining CoinW, becoming a member of BitLab Academy, that full education suite and Discord that we have, or you're just a member here on the YouTube, I appreciate you. Shout out to anybody that's gifting and joining, and just even if you're just a member, even if you're just tuned in, I love you. I appreciate you. But we're also seeing Ethereum investor purchases $11.4 million in ETH amid market volatility. Smart money. They're taking advantage of these opportunities. Taking advantage. Golly, 5,000 ETH. Wouldn't you like to have, if you'd like to have 5,000 ETH, throw one in chat. I know I would. Yeah, 5,000 ETH, holy malarkey. That would be a great historical context of whale activity. The whale's previous actions provide crucial context. In November 2022, the same entity bought 5,200 ETH at an average price of $1,322. By December 2023 and January 2024, the whale liquidated these holdings for an average price of 2,000, realizing profits exceeding 4 million. Such patterns in whale behavior often align with market trends and are scrutinized by analysts for predictive insights on future price movements. Follow the guys that have the money, that know how to make the money. Stop being a slave to your damn emotions. Notice your emotions, but see what other players are doing in this space, especially the bigger players. Now, continuing on here, we also see that they're legalizing betting on the U.S. elections, which is going to be very interesting. It's going to be, I wonder if one of the reasons they've been limiting that is because it's going to give more accurate information, because people are voting with dollars, not just sentiment. It's, you know what I mean? It's private. You do it on your own. You're not being asked by a poll representative. It's like, no, you're out there betting on who you think is going to win. So that's interesting that, we're getting some a little bit more clarity there. Now let's see what KJM say. I saw it somewhere. KJM says, I was just saying what's up. Shout out to everybody that is here. Everybody say good morning. crypto fam in the chat. Let's get 150 good morning crypto fams. We got 319 people watching right now between Twitter and almost said Facebook and YouTube. So shout out to everybody that is here. We're going to be diving into some analysis here in just a moment. I do want to point this out. I did a short on this morning. Bitcoin monthly RSI broke down the U curve. This is a U curve, okay? Which could trigger Bitcoin to consolidate for 3 to 6 months, according to previous behavior. But check this out. Bitcoin has already completed 4 months. So 3 to 6 months, we're 4 months in. This started basically at the top of when we broke down from $73,800 and been having this sort of sideways downward angled consolidation at previous all-time high. This correlates similar to what we saw here, in 2016. And we are 4 months in. Are we getting into that zone? Much like we talked about when we're looking at this chart with this time frame outlined based on what we've seen previous cycles. And we're seeing appetite, incredible appetite for this asset despite the volatility. This is a wonderful thing to see. And we're just in this consolidation range. Also post-halving, we're looking for the reversal on this RSI. This is on the monthly chart, so it may take some time to be illustrated here, but things are looking better than people feel like right now. The sentiment is kind of shocking to me when I see opportunity. There's so many people out there that are scared. And then similarly, Wrecked Capital here says the only times Bitcoin ever experienced downside in the months of October was in 2014 and 2018. Those were both bear market years. Bitcoin is currently in a halving year and a global liquidity is ticking up. And we have that big date in November. We've got Bitcoin in those years, we've had it sort of split. 2020, look, all of these except for these two, but we're in September. 2020 was red, 2016 was green. So 50-50 in the last two election cycle years. Coming into October, predominantly bullish, other than these two very strong bearish years. So whatever happens between now and September, do not put yourself in a worse position before this market erupts to the upside. So shout out to Wrecked Capital, great chart there. And then we can also see Ethereum has just hit a 4-month high in network growth on a day, Sunday, that is traditionally the least active of the week. 126,210 new wallets created and is indicative of rising network utility and anticipated price bounce from the $2,200 to $2,300 level. So this is why right now I'm so excited about what's going to happen with the altcoin market. However, we have to look right now to Bitcoin and Ethereum to signal when that heavy risk appetite is going to come back in the market. So we're seeing an uptick here in this utility on the Ethereum network. So let's pay attention to that. And then of course, Coinbase's spot trading volume dominance is back to pre-spot ETF levels. This means before January 11th, when the Bitcoin spot ETFs went live, this basically spot trading volume, which is a great analogy, especially for the US. Coinbase is the number one exchange in the US. When the spot dominance is down, that is also indicative of pretty apparent lack of retail interest here in the US, which is a big player in driving the price in the crypto market. So for the bull cycle to continue, U.S. demand needs to rebound. I expect this in Q4, but I could be wrong, says Ki Young Ju. Make sure you're following this individual if you haven't. He's always posting incredible charts. I share him on here on a regular basis. We're mid-cycle and haven't hit the retail bubble yet. I agree with that. And then, of course, we got a couple things to pay attention to here on the charts and here in this asset class the rest of the month. The 9th, we get the Japanese GDP. I wonder if that's come out yet or not. I haven't seen. House Financial Services Committee hearing on DeFi. And we also have the debate tomorrow. And then on the 11th, we get the CPI month over month and year over year. And then we have the September 11th Memorial. We might get a little bit of a decline in volume between now and the 11th to 12th. But then we also have European Central Bank rate decision front running ours. So they're going to get their rate decision on the 12th. 17th, if you believe in the moon and all the different impacts, and I'm somewhat indifferent to it, but you can see it on the charts. the impact of full moons, eclipses, whether it's completely a coincidence or it actually is a major impact. There's also going to be people that are paying attention to this as well. But then we have the 18th, the FOMC decision. We have Token 2049, which I will be at. Is anybody else out there going to be at Token 2049? And by the way, shout out my guy, Giver's Gain, Crypto Billy. Shout out to all you people that are out there giving, taking care of people in your life, taking care of others, encouraging people to be good people. That's one of the things I wanted to do with this channel. It's not just talk crypto, but let's also encourage each other to be awesome souls. Let's encourage each other to lift each other up and to grow and to be forgiving when somebody's being a jackass. Maybe they're having a hard day. It has nothing to do with you. Give a little love. Get a lot of love. So shout out to everybody and shout out to Crypto Billy for that. Also, we got the 18th. What else we got? Quadruple witching date. U.S. options expiry, meaning we're going to have, a bunch of options expiring on the 18th. And then, of course, the 23rd, Gary Gensler testimony before the Full House U.S. Committee. CZ Binance released from jail on the 29th. Masari Crypto Mainnet 2024 in New York. Shout out to Green Day Profits, given 5 memberships. Big love to you. Big love, and shout out to all the new members here in the channel. You're going to be getting access to the private member streams we do for BitLab Academy. We stream on the private unlisted link. And by the way, I want to encourage every one of you, whether you are a member or not, especially if you're a member, that you make sure that you come over here. Again, make sure you're subscribed, have your notifications on. I say that because right here on posts, sometimes I will post for 2 or 3 minutes right when we're doing a member stream. And those of you on the public post here, those of you that have your notifications turned on will see that. You'll get the private link. You'll be able to join in. But then also you members, we do the members only post also. We keep this here so all of you see that. So, I don't do the public posts and all that like on Twitter. So you need to have your notifications on so you can come and participate in these private member streams. I just wanted to encourage you to that. That's here on the post area. So there's something else I wanted to share. So we got some things going on the rest of this month. Now, before we dive into some TA, Crypto Danks, if you're out there, make sure you get on that link and hop in here. We're going to pull you up in here a second. I do want to say we got to protect ourselves. We got to protect our crypto. Make sure you're using a crypto cold storage solution. And I think it's one of the best ones out there. These Arculus, getarculus.com. It's the best crypto cold storage solution out there. One tap to swap, trade, and save and store your crypto. Head over to getarculus.com. Use code LAB10, LAB10, with the numbers, not the word. Getarculus.com, LAB10 for 10% off. Make sure you're protecting your crypto. Now, this is where we're at right now. If you look at the markets overlaid based on the basically market cycle lows, look at where the price action is. It is this pink line right here. See how this comes down. We had a little deviation above, opposite of what we had last cycle with that, the world shutdown. But now on both instances and this, the other instance here from the 2017, the 2021, and now the 2024, we are literally at the crux of where all 3 cycles have been based on where the price action is as it relates to where its cycle low was. So everything is on track and we're worried about nonsense. There's volatility here to trigger your emotions. So shout out to everybody that is here on a daily basis. Shout out to everybody that has been stacking. Shout out to everybody that has patience. And if you don't, you're here to learn it. We're here to make some money in this market, not donate it to other people, right? So this is feeling, we are right on track. Now we look at what's going on. Just a reminder on the macro. This is a great chart, very underutilized, very understood chart. This is available supply. Notice this has been ticking up dramatically previously. This is because we went from 0 Bitcoin to 19 million plus Bitcoin in the matter of 14 years, right? It's going to take another 100 plus years to get the last 2 million Bitcoin mined. Now, in addition to that, what this is, it's essentially signaling is this idea of what supply shock is coming to the market. We have the ETFs buying, although they're settling off chain, which we found out with Coinbase, which is a little hinky. However, when we understand the dynamics of what is happening in this market, this is showing, this is rolling over. There's going to be less and less available supply. And we still know we have a 10x coming in the adoption rate in the next 5 years. If you look at the analogy of Bitcoin's price action, if you look at the analogy of Bitcoin's adoption rate as it relates to the internet, Bitcoin is outpacing the rate of adoption that the internet did, which would suggest that at latest 2031, 2032, we'll have 1 billion people using Bitcoin. But at the pace we're at, it shows around 2029. And we've got about, 100-ish million people using Bitcoin. That's a 10x. And we have supply shock coming. So let's get smart. Let's be patient. Let's look to what everything is happening in this market. Let's understand that we are still consolidating at previous all-time highs. And now we've got this deviation below. We've come down, tested this multi-year trend line that comes all the way back here to January 2021. Boom. So rejection, perfect bounce right in here. We're getting a little bit of signs of life. We're getting the VWAP angled to the upside. We're getting a little bit more bullishness here on the daily chart on this 1, 2, 4 out of the 6 signals here on the BitLab Trend Fuel showing a little bit of a bullish setup, but do not sleep on movements that can happen in this market. As I outlined last week, we very well may come up here. We may come all the way down here to 44, 43,000, then come up, do some work, come in here, get rejected, then launch. We also could just push up from here, get people really excited, and then reject, come back down, and come all the way down here. There's a lot on the table right now that's going to steal your capital if you are not being patient. And this is one of the reasons why we do have that Signals Lab set up to give you guys all those signals. So make sure, again, there are giveaways, there are bonuses, there are all the things you need, and holding your hand, showing you what is going on, the setups that are there, and the trades that are being taken. So get involved. Make sure you just scroll down when you're here, especially on the BitLab page. If you scroll right below this, it's also on the Twitter. I posted a comment there. Click on this link right here and join us in the Telegram. The only thing you need to do to get access, and it's me, and we have quite a few other professional traders in there. You get it for free just by joining through our CoinW link and depositing $100. We got some giveaways going out also that are happening with all of that. So make sure you take advantage of this before this market runs away. And with that being said, I think, Ethereum, just a general overview. We have this all the way back to here. Look at that. November 2022. You could argue it's all the way actually back here to June 2022. Finding support, finding support, finding support. Now look at this. We're getting trapped in this range. So to help usher in some of this analysis, we got to talk to my boy. We got to talk to the Danky man himself, Mr. Crypto Danks. Let me go ahead and turn off the Telegram here. There it is. How you doing, my friend? How you feeling? What's up?
What's going on, my man? Good to see you. Good to have you. What's up, BitLab family? See you guys in the chat already, and it's really nice to see everyone. Thanks for having me on, man. How you doing today?
Dude, I'm good. I got so much to do this week because you and I were both going to be at Token 2049 in Singapore. But you're an avid crypto trader as well. You're doing a bunch of stuff with CoinW, and we're getting people in the know of how to navigate this market. So, what are you looking at on the charts? What's exciting you?
Right now, I've actually been drawing up I'm just trying to find a pattern. I'm really trying to find a pattern here with the FOMC meeting and the CPI, right? We got FOMC coming, I think on the 17th, if I'm correct. I put the previous ones here. And what I'm noticing is that more frequently than not, our FOMC meetings are correlating to a low. And as you can see, we're right now heading towards another low on FOMC. So we did have a high here. We had a high here, but we had 3 lows, one here on this date, one here on this date, one here, and we're about to knock out a 4th. When I look at this data, we can all analyze all the data sets we want. And in the grand scheme of things, there's no true answer. I can paint this page with 1,000 lines, but at the end of the day, we're still in a market. And I hate to say it this way, but we're still in an unregulated market, right? Which means centralized exchanges go and do what? not just them, but whales, and who knows who's working together. They go and liquidate longs. They liquidate shorts. That's a big thing, and it's a big moneymaker for a lot of whales and institutions at this time. So no matter what I put up here, at the end of the day, it really doesn't. I want to say it matters, but it's hard to say it does because we have no control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you
So
have no control, and that's one of the reasons why it's important to have a trade. If you're going to trade, you have a segmented trading allocation. It's not your entire portfolio. And even with those trades, you have to make sure you're practicing healthy risk management and knowing the time frame you're in and the trend of that time frame. And how does that sit into a time frame that is slightly larger than it? So you know where to ride those swings. So how are you feeling about price action though between now and the end of September into October? Do you think some people think we're not going to have any pumpage till after November? Some people think we're likely going to get a bit of a jolt coming into the end of this month, maybe even into October.
I think, based off of just some of the recent data that I've looked at, I think we're going to get a pump either end of September, middle of October. I'm looking probably close to first week or second week of October. We should get some significant pump. And we got Tuesday, tomorrow. I think Tuesday's presidential debate, I believe. That's going to say a lot about like the sentiment of the political, macro political stuff that's going on, and that actually has a lot to do with what we have to look forward to in the future, right? So I encourage everyone to get out there and vote. And this is important stuff, but there's so many different things that a lot of people don't look at. We've got the rate cuts, we've got potential rate cuts, I should say, but also in the past, I was just looking at this chart. We have the M2 global supply growth against Bitcoin. If you don't know what M2 is, this is the top 21 central banks of the world, of the globe, right? So this is tracking back to 2013, I think. Now, I'm not going to pull up all the rate cut history and stuff like that, but typically when we have a rate cut, we end up seeing an influx of liquidity. They're going to pump liquidity into the market. And as a result, what happens is these big banks that are giving out loans and that, they end up printing or injecting liquidity, then consumers spend, and then the liquidity or the M2 growth global supply goes up. Now, if you look at the chart, the global supply is in blue or purple. And Bitcoin actually follows it pretty closely. You can see, I mean, even from the beginning, sure, do we fall down here a little bit, but still we are following pretty accurately. So I'd expect, with the rate cut potentially coming on the table here very soon, that shortly after we might see some type of injection in liquidity. There's a very high possibility of that, and if we see that, then what happens in the past is that the growth of the M2 global liquidity will go up, and as a result, because of Bitcoin's following that, then we should see an influx in price. It just depends on how fast that happens, right? I don't know if you have anything to drop in on that.
No, I mean, I've been talking about this since last year with the global liquidity now breaking to new highs. I shared this on Friday that we're spending roughly $3 billion a day just to pay interest on the debt we have. The only thing that is possible is there's everybody in the Western world becomes far more budgeted, and we know things are going to get cut back and get a lot harder. But that means none of the politicians will be elected again. So no, what are they going to do? They're going to figure out ways to get liquidity injections into these markets, and that's going to be great for risk assets when it comes. The question is when, not if.
Absolutely. So, I was looking at let me see, crypto fear greed index. Let me see if I can pull this up here and see where we're at today. Let's go coin stats. I think it was at like 30 something and it was 27 the day before. So
Hey, can you do me
now,
a
okay, so
favor?
26 back. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. On your chart, can you shrink the width of it a little bit because you have the edge of it going off the side of the screen?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, which one was it? Da, 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 da. with my Bitcoin chart here, like this one, or the fear greed. Is that better? Should be good, right?
Yeah, I can't tell unless you're doing the M2 chart because that's where it was going off the edge.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. So, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can. I don't know why it's got it looking like that here.
Scroll,
I think
just
because I have a bar over here on the left side.
grab the edge of the
I
screen
can
and
actually
just
make it bigger and look like that, but it's not still grab the edge. Yeah, I don't know why. That's weird. Let's see. Hmm.
it's
Well,
all good. It's all good.
I guess
Continue on.
either way, I can just tell you what I see here. So the global liquidity supply is actually sitting at about 106 trillion. And we've been over 100 trillion since I think the beginning of 2023, it looks like. So, as we've been kind of steadily inclining, I'm likely to see that most of these, banks are going to just want to keep increasing. If you look at from back here, obviously we have a steady increase and then a big jump up after COVID. It's kind of gone sideways a little bit. I mean, imagine going from before COVID, 75 trillion, all the way after COVID, literally 25 trillion. I mean, and then slowly over the last 5 years or so, 4 years, just kinda, a couple trillion here and there every year. I mean, I know that they're going to want to boost again because just like us, just like retail, they are human beings and they want to see more money. And whatever they got to do to get it, they're going to go ahead and throw that money somehow into their pocket, right? So a lot of things that we see as United States consumers in particular, or just residents, they give us the checks, right? The checks for what they did during COVID. They were giving people money, but that money
Stimulus. Yeah.
eventually ends. The stimulus checks, thank you. That money ends up in their pocket, right? So at the end of the day, they just keep, and then it's kind of crazy because they just sell off bonds and treasuries. And I don't know if you know this, or you probably know it, but the viewers, Japan actually owns the largest amount of the U.S. debt, which is over $1 trillion in bonds and debt. So, as we sell off debt, I'm not as, like Ben Cohen. I don't know as much as he does, and the way, and I'm still trying to learn about all that stuff and how it affects the market. But as I've been digging deeper over this, last, year, 2 years into the macro data sets, it's a really interesting dynamic of how I mean, even the price of like corn and like like oils of different types, they affect the market, not just crypto but stocks. So it's really interesting to see, and there's so many different things for me to go back, and I know it was a long way of getting back to answering your question. How do I feel? I think that we're going to see a push up in October, and then we're going to see what happens with the presidency. If Trump gets elected, I really think we're going to have a blow off top of some sort. And then with Harris, I don't know if they're going to try to do some bearish stuff, and I have no idea what their idea of what they're going to do with Bitcoin and crypto is, but it doesn't look like they're going to be on the crypto investors side. So especially I think if they're bringing Gensler on as one of their main guys, and then I think Trump is looking to bring either Jamie Dimon or Larry Fink on as Secretary of Treasury. So those are two very different worlds that we're looking at. I mean, I can understand why we're in a very choppy, skeptical market. I mean, there's so many things that are at stake here, and it all hangs on a lot of the politics.
Yeah, I hear that. It's people want to say talk crypto, don't talk politics, and I'm not really even. I don't think we're even talking politics. We're talking about like any asset. You look to things forward looking, how different stimuli will affect the outcome of either up or down narrative with the bulls or the bears. So, what else are you looking at? What other charts are you got any? I can't even see what that is. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't show. Let me see if I can. It's
No, I
just
can
on
see
my
it. I just
laptop. It
the
should just
monitor is
be
far
very
enough
good.
away. I can't.
Yeah, this is the ton. This is ton, right? So originally Ton, I really like Ton. I've been doing AMAs on the Ton network with some people in the Ton ecosystem on CoinW's X page, doing some spaces and really getting to know the Ton ecosystem. Now, I originally invested in Ton and then I pulled out. Actually, I'm glad I did because obviously this happened after Durov's arrest. However, I really think Ton has something bigger than I really imagined at first. Yes, of course, they have the billions of users, but not just that. The only thing that held me back and made me want to sell is that about 92% of the holdings are in the top 100 wallets. That can be a good thing and a bad thing, right? Most people would look at it as a bad thing, but I try to see both sides, and that's what's making me want to get back in is that I see that actually during these sell-offs that we've had, those top 100 wallets are actually accumulating. Majority are accumulating. So this tells me, and they also allowed it to get to the top 10 and they're not ruining the bag. And it wouldn't make sense for Telegram to just ruin the bag, right? So I've been looking at an entry on Ton. We are obviously well below the value area, and we've gotten in on here. I've put a little bit in, but I've just been kind of monitoring the market. I've got a variety of alts, and I got a variety. I can pull it over so maybe you guys can see some of the things. Obviously, I've been looking at Caspa. Caspa's been moving up and down, kind of ranging right now. But I'll tell you what, I think my favorite coin to trade is Solana. I might have mentioned it before. Solana is like a volatile version of ETH. I mean, look at these moves on the daily chart. This is where money is really made. And if you're careful, I like to go low leverage, and I like to just, I don't want to be like stressed about my trade, right? So that's why I choose to go lower leverage. A lot of people, they go 20, 50, 100x leverage. You got the wrong guy. I like to just sit back and watch my trades go for weeks if I can. So for me, Solana is really, you can see here, it's sitting on a nice support level at about the $128, $130 range. That is where I'm looking to potentially get some type of signal for a long. And if I look here, I'm looking to make sure you can see. Yeah. Okay. So the MACD for me on Solana on the daily starting to push bullish. All right. If you can't see it, you can see here these pink lines, they're starting to get smaller and smaller. We need to see a crossover of this of these lines here. And once we have that, we would have a nice bullish sentiment, hopefully ticking up some green. RSI also pushing up from a bottom, hopefully can get across. We do have money flow on the market cipher. It's a little bit choppy though, and we do have a big bearish momentum wave printing here. So, that's not all bad though necessarily. And at the same time, we don't have to overcomplicate things, right? We can see, it's very clear to me that we can see since, what is this? Since March. Okay, so March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 6 months. We really haven't come, like, we've wicked down a few times. So once we get a bullish, like anything bullish, I would say Solana is going to rip back up to the 150, 60. And if we can get through the mid 160s, it's up to 190, because I can actually show you here. There is let's see if I can move that. So there is a price gap here, a volume gap, I think. Yeah, okay, perfect. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So this price range right in here, there's a price gap. And for me, it's showing, yeah, right here. So 165 is the top of it. If we can get and push up and just move through, this is the toughest area because there's a lot more less volume on orders. So this is the price volume indicator. I have changed my colors. It shows the buys and sells. I think it pulls from all the CEXs and the data from the limit orders and market orders. And it shows you the price action volume as to where this is volume by time. This would be volume by price. Now, sorry, let me get some water. I'm here. When you have a price gap like this, you can see that price moves very quickly through these price gaps. That's because there's just not enough money to hold it and keep it consolidated. That's why you see the consolidations up just above the price gap, right around here. You see this? Consolidate, right? Let's see where else. We move quickly through, again, through this price gap, consolidate. So now we have a lot of price action all in here. So that's why you see a lot of price movement in here. So what I would expect is at least to get a push up somewhere towards the point of control, which would be right here, that little red line. So for me, my eye on the ball for Solana, you can, for me, no, not financial advice. I probably will be placing a long on a very low leverage, maybe 3x leverage or so, maybe 5x. But I want to keep my potential liquidation price very low. So Solana for me is probably been my biggest moneymaker as well this year. Let me see what else we could take a look at here.
Well, Jumpman said Sui is the trade.
Oh yeah, Sui. So Jumpman, he's in the chat. I didn't see that. Jumpman, good to see you. He's actually a moderator in my community, so it's good to see him come over here. So I did see a potential long on Sui, and it comes from the market cipher B, and then I got more indication on the other indicators. Let me actually pull open the perpetuals chart. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and clear this if I can, remove drawings, and then we'll go ahead and open this on the daily. So what I see out of Sui is this, right? So the first thing I look at, obviously, for me is the moving average. I got the 55, then the 200 in purple, 55 in blue. So it looks like we want to curve back up if we can get a curve. But this is what really showed me that we have some type of movement potentially to the upside, okay? So we have a deep anchor wave, all right? This is my blue wave strategy that I like. We have money flow smooth and long negative, and then sharp upturn to bullish, and we have what's called a trigger wave. It's a three-piece pattern with the market cipher B. You got anchor wave, trigger wave, and money flowing bullish, okay? So when I look at this, this is when we printed our potential long, okay? Not only that, I want to make sure that it's not just the market cipher B giving me that indication. We have moved up on the RSI as well as printing now, I think the second, yeah, so we got the second green MACD, all right? So this does look bullish to me. I will say though that we have to look on smaller time frames to see like what's kind of happening with the money flow, right? Before now, I do have a little small entry in here, and I'm waiting to see exactly what we're looking at for a longer term, but I want to get a clear idea of the money flow. But the problem is this, is when you start getting into the lower time frame, I just want to see a nice smooth green money flowing in. And when it starts to get choppy, it makes me a little apprehensive. However, that strategy, the blue wave strategy, is pretty strong. So I'm gonna hold and let it see what happens. You can see we do have some higher highs building here on the daily, and we have some higher lows. It looks like we got high here, here. This low, that's the only thing. So if we can kind of break above this 200 and potentially maybe use that as support, or at least stay above the 55 as it moves, then it looks like we should have some nice long there for Sui. It's cool to see Jumpman and KJam. Good to see you. Alexandra, good to see you as well. What are you? This is the thing with me, right? And a lot of some whales that I got in touch with that I talk to on a regular basis. A lot of them, they're just not trading right now. You know, I was watching a couple of YouTubers as well. I don't watch much YouTube, but I was on the plane coming back from Florida. I was at the Vault conference. Patrick Bet David. I was watching some stuff, and a lot of people were just saying, just don't trade, right? So right now, it's kind of a scary thing. I was watching also Trade Travel Chill. I met her in Bali, and she made some very interesting, points that China and how the U.S. and China are actually manipulating Bitcoin's price. Like China will sell off during their trading hours and their trading week, and then the USA will pump, and then back and forth. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about taking the liquidity, so they're going back and forth, stealing liquidity out of Bitcoin until they shake out the buyers and the traders, and then they can get the best possible price. My theory, okay, if I go back to Bitcoin, my theory is that, and for all coins rather, not just Bitcoin, they're going to just keep messing, whoever they are, right? We keep saying they, I say they, but I don't know exactly who they are. It's a lot of people that are big money movers. I feel like they're trying to shake people out so they can lower the liquidity, lower the volume, I should say, so that when the volume is low, people are done buying, they're kind of like already sold, a lot of people out of the market, the money is, the price of all of these altcoins and Bitcoin are lower, then they can come in with low volume and start pumping the price whenever they're ready. And that's what I think is happening, is they're just trying to get the volume as low as possible from all these traders. They're trying to get the prices as low as possible for all of these tokens and coins. And then when they're ready, they can come in, pump it with liquidity, buy at the lowest possible price, create this massive FOMO. Because the volume is low, the price will move
Oh,
exponentially faster than if the price was, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I think is happening, bro.
well, I mean, that's one of the things I'm cautioning people on right now is don't get out because it's boring. And because when this starts to go, it's going. I think we're going to have like a week period where we're doing like we'll do like $15,000 in like a day and a half, and then like we'll have another 7,000. Then we'll have a wick to the downside, scaring people, making them think it's a trap, and then it's going to be at $15,000. But it's going to, when it moves, it's going to move quickly because, like you said, the demand starts to evaporate. And we're seeing that. I mean, you and I can see that on data metrics on the people that participate in our trading groups. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
just small accounts, it's major, everybody across the board is, sort of being very hesitant right now. But I think it's an ultimate setup zone right now for things to have some pretty spectacular upside in the very near future. Now, there is a
Absolutely. I
chance
think,
like I
oh,
just
go ahead.
had one of my favorite people in the space, Jesse Olson. I did an interview with him on Saturday, and he's discussing the potential, and it's a real potential. I don't think it's super highly likely, but I'm aware of it. There's a potential price action on Bitcoin goes down to the 200-day moving average, 200-week moving average, which is $38,000. $38,000 is also the golden pocket of the macro move. So I am aware of the lower targets, but I have to acknowledge that I do have a bullish bias because of all of the fundamental, just bullish shifts that we've seen in the last 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. I just we have to see what happens. Yeah, I'm looking at the chart here. I don't know why it doesn't show the full thing. I think we might be a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, if you talk to people and you see on X, obviously there's so many different sentiment. But one thing I will say, there's a lot of bearish sentiment out there. A lot of people saying it's over, like it's not coming back. Like there are a lot of people saying that, right? But one thing I will tell you is that when a lot of people are saying one thing, more likely than not, the other is going to happen, right? When they say Bitcoin's, like last run, Bitcoin's going to go to 100K. Well, what happens? The opposite. So a lot of times it's not what I mean, how often do you see, let's be real here, how often do you see everybody calling for one thing, or 80% or even like 70% calling for one thing, and then that thing actually happens? Have you seen it? I haven't seen that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So let's be real. I think that what we're looking at here is more likely probably the opposite of what most people are saying. There's a site that I use called Lunar Crush. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It gauges the sentiment. This was the liquidation heat map I was looking at just to see. We do have some down below. It looks like, I mean, there's some liquidations to be had. You can go on this Lunar Crush. This is not a plug. I don't, get paid or anything like that. It's just a site that I use, and it ranks like the top things that people are talking about in the world, right? And cryptocurrency is currently number 10. Last week it was like 22, and then it went to like 12 or 13, back to 18. This is actually the highest I've seen it the last in a while. We'll know we're in a bull run when crypto is at 1, right? So I encourage you guys to go check this out, because what's cool about it is you can actually go and list, for example, you can type in Solana, right? And it will pull open the amount of interactions on the Solana ecosystem on all of these websites. So you've got X, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, and whatever. I think this is news, right? And it shows the overall sentiment. So 52% positive, 40% neutral, and then it shows all of the actual interactions. So this is something I actually go to a lot to see for different coins and tokens. One that I like, that I'm heavily invested in right now at this lower prices, is Ondo Finance. Go in, see what are people thinking. Interestingly enough, I haven't really even looked. It says 30% positive, 66% neutral, 4% negative. But then you'll see some other coins that are like 1% positive, like 70% negative. So it's good to get a gauge on the world, on how they're feeling about something, if you're looking to either invest or trade. But as a trader, sentiment is actually very important, especially today's sentiment. You go and see all the posts for today. If you see a lot of red, maybe that'll start triggering something to the downside. So just a tool that I use that I thought I'd share with you guys.
No, it's a great tool. Yeah, understanding what sentiment is sometimes will put you on to getting away from something that is just vastly negative. But most times in these assets, when everybody's negative, it might be setting up for an opportunity to find a long. And same thing when everybody's greedy and everybody's positive, it might be an opportunity to go short. But it's always great having you on here, Crypto Danks. I'm looking forward to Singapore with you. Thank you for sharing those charts. I do want to shout out for everybody that is out there paying attention. Make sure you get involved over here on CoinW. Join us. It's free to sign up. If you come in here, where is it at? Access to Signal Labs. Right in here, you'll see step 1, register. That gives you free access. Step 2, you get your UID, and then you do /verify space, and then your UID number. It gives you access. You get in here. We have so many different, these are some of the calls we did in August. 90%, 46%, 183%, 78%, 60%. These are all listed in there that you could be absolutely crushing it with us. And again, when you come over to the YouTube, you can see directly below right here, it's got the link that you click on to join. We got bonuses, giveaways, incentives, all that and more. And then, of course, if you're watching on Twitter, if you scroll down right here into this, the comment directly below, it's this link right here. Make sure it's from at BitLab Academy. It's the only correct one. And again, Crypto Man Danks, where I'm going to pull you back up here. Where can they find you other than at Crypto Danks X? What's your YouTube? What else can they find you at?
Yeah, no, I'm on YouTube. Just type in Crypto Danks, you'll be able to see me there. I just started going on Instagram. I think I'll be posting more of like my day-to-day personal life stuff. Like when I was in Bitcoin Nashville, I'm just, posting stuff that I'm doing. I think it's a cool way to just connect on more of a personal level on Instagram. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Crypto Danks. So I'm now getting more into the other social media. I've been kind of building on Twitter, X, and YouTube as a primary focus, but definitely I'm wherever you type in my name, I'm sure you can find me on the major platforms, even TikTok. But I'm not as active as I should be on there, but I'm looking to definitely beef that up.
Awesome, man. Well, it's always good having you, brother, and I'll be seeing you in person here in about a week.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have a good time. Looking forward to seeing you DJ, and that'll be awesome, man. So have a
Yeah,
good
dude,
time.
I can't wait. Well, everybody, make sure you're following Crypto Danks. Make sure you're following us here at Academy BitLab, and then of course at Kelly Kellam. If you, just gonna tell you guys, you guys gotta pay attention. These streams or these posts that I'm reposting on BitLab Academy. If you hit that retweet button right there and hit the like button, I'm gonna randomly pick a day each week, and then randomly pick a person that has retweeted. And I'm going to be doing giveaways from Arculus to money to crypto, all sorts of things, just as an appreciation for you guys participating. And with that, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Make sure you have the subscriptions turned on. Hit that subscription. Make sure your notifications turned on. I'm going to be doing a lot more member streams for all of you that are members to check those out. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Quarter Crawler, Sawtooth Hiker, Alexander G, Andy D, K-Jam, everybody in here that's on a regular basis. I love you all. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. Again, my name's Kelly Kellam. Shout out to everybody. We're about to have an astronomically incredible 2025, so don't get chopped out. Don't get chopped out along the way. That's all I got. Adios, muchachos.